There's one bit I'd like to show you before I skip on to the bright bit of the talk. And I haven't actually explored this in public before. I've written about it in a series of books I wrote called Springboard Shakespeare. And there's two things I want to share with you that I found someone referring to in a book 50 years ago, and I've started to explore with my company. Aslam, Jen, can you come back and duck down here with me? We're going to read a little bit of the end of Hamlet. This is the grave scene with Ophelia. And you'll notice, if I can get the right button, there we go. You see these little things here? These are the missing beats. These are the lines that have less than 10 syllables in them and that we'll pause to try and make sense of.
Now pile your dust upon the quick and dead, till of this flat a mountain you have made, to o'ertop old Pelion, or the skyish head of blue Olympus.
What is he whose griefs bears such an emphasis, whose phrase of sorrow conjure the wandering stars and makes them stand like wander-wounded heroes? This is I, Hamlet the Dane.
The devil take thy soul.
Thou prayest not well. I prithee, take thy fingers from my throat, sir, though I am not splenitive and rash, yet have I something in me dangerous, which let thy wiseness fear. Away thy hand.
Pluck them asunder.
Hamlet, Hamlet.
Gentlemen! Good my lord, be quiet.
Why, I will fight with him upon this theme until my eyelids will no longer wag.
Oh, my son, what theme?
I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not, with all their quantity of love, make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her?
Oh, he is mad, Laertes.
He don't.
For the love of God, forbear him.
He don't. Come, show me what thou do. Would weep, would fight, would tear thyself, would drink of Isel, eat a crocodile? I'll do it. Dost thou come here to whine, to outface me with leaping in her grave? When we were exploring this a couple of years ago, I was asked to go over to Reno, Nevada, to be an artist in residence at the university there, and to help put together and lead the first contemporary production of Hamlet in original pronunciation, which I am coming to. And we struggled putting this scene together because of all these pauses and these interruptions. And what I've been discovering of late is that Shakespeare, not content with getting his characters and actors to come in on cue with each other, is, it turns out, I think, that they got them to overlap with each other. So that the idea of Shakespeare being beautiful poetry that every syllable should be heard, there's a very good chance it wasn't the case 400 years ago. Whose phrase of sorrow conjure the wandering stars and make them stand like wander-wounded heroes. This is I, Hamlet the Dane.
The devil take thy soul.
Thou prayest not well.
Pluck them asunder.
Gentlemen! I prithee, take thy fingers from my throat. Sir, thou I am not splenitive and rash.
Hamlet,
Yet have I
Hamlet.
something in me dangerous,
Good,
which
my
let
lord,
thy
be
wiseness
quiet.
fear. Away thy hand. Why, I will fight with him upon this theme until
my
my
son,
eyelids
what
will no
theme?
longer wag. I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not, with all their quantity of love, make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her? Come, show me what thou do.
Oh,
would
he
weep,
is
would
mad,
fight, would tear
Laertes.
thyself, would drink up Isel, eat a crocodile? I'll do it.
For the love
Dost
of
thou
God,
come here
forbear
to
him.
whine, to outface me with leaping in her grave? As with so many of these things, as I spend my spare time trying to explore new ways of acting Shakespeare, it's just an idea, but I do like it. And one more from King Lear, and for this I'm going to have to ask a random member of the audience to help me. Sir, have we ever met before? No. Ladies and gentlemen, my father, David Crystal. Foolish thought to say a sorry sight. Do you come here often, Dad? Do you want to do Lear? I'll do Kent. I think it's the right way round.
Just about. This is a dull sight. Are you not Kent?
The same, your servant Kent. Where is your servant Caius?
He's a good fellow, I can tell you that. He'll strike, and quickly too. He's dead and rotten.
No, my good lord, I am the very man.
I'll see that straight.
that from your first of difference and decay have followed your sad steps.
You are welcome hither.
Nor no man else, all's cheerless, dark, and deadly. And it, it doesn't work too badly, but notice it's not just the gaps here. The verse is a little bit, it's spilling over. There's lots of plus, extra syllables in the line. Using the same process. So, Dad, you're going to come in on these two when you hit the stars. You see them?
Yeah, gotcha.
So you start.
This is a dull sight. Are you not
The
Kent?
same, your servant Kent.
He's
Where
a
is your
good
servant-
fellow. Sorry.
That's all right. So wait until I've asked, where's your servant Caius?
Oh, okay.
Okay, go again.
This is a dull sight. Are you not
The
Kent?
same, your servant Kent. Where is your servant Caius?
He's a good fellow, I can tell you that. He'll strike, and quickly too. He's dead and rotten.
No, my good lord, I am the very man
I'll
that
see
from
that
your first
straight.
difference and decay have followed your sad steps. Nor
You are
no
welcome
man
hither.
else. Round of applause. Thank you. It's interesting, because I've been working on Pericles a lot in this last month, and there are times when, in the modern editions, they try to order or reorder the poetry that is in prose-ish form back into better metrical poetry and even out all the lines into 10, 10, 10, and 10. And actually what we find is that Pericles, a much, much later play that was co-written. And a lot of people say, oh, the early verse is very bad. Well, what if it's even more avant-garde than what we first thought? That there are elements, if you start with prose and then you move up to poetry and then rhyming poetry and then sonnet and song, what if there's this lovely space in between prose and poetry where the poetry looks prose-ish or the prose has a poetic quality to it? And that, I think, is something that perhaps might be going on at the end of Lear here, and definitely seems to be going on at points in Pericles. This is why I think Shakespeare is beautiful, because he tells me so much on how I should perform him or how I should guide others to perform him. It's been thought for so long that Shakespeare is beautiful because he writes such beautiful poetry, and thereby the idea that we should speak him with a beautiful poetic voice too. And again, thanks to the work that my father started at the Shakespeare's Globe in 2004, I know now that this is not the case.